When it comes to the rhetoric and the headlines that the establishment media is using when they are covering this particular issue, I cannot even begin to express how important it is for you to be careful with the language that you use. For the longest time, the Israeli government was pushing rhetoric that Palestinians don't exist. Palestine never existed. The land was empty. And people just accepted that rhetoric. They didn't have any reason to not believe them. They didn't have access to actual existing Palestinians. But the result of the 1948 Nakba was that it created the Palestinian diaspora, which spread across the entire world. Palestinians were no longer just a myth. They were our neighbors, our friends, our loved ones. And they brought with them evidence, passports, keys, stories. That illusion of a myth was broken because Palestinians were delivered to the entire world due to that catastrophe. And all of a sudden, Israel could no longer stand behind that myth. So they adapted. Sure, Palestinians exist, but they're terrorists. Every man, every woman, every child, every journalist, every doctor is Hamas, is a terrorist. And because they are those two things, they don't actually deserve to live. That's why the world should be okay with their death. This is a screenshot from one of Ziggy's videos that I'll link below that is literally showing you an official Israeli website broadcasting the amount of Palestinians they are killing every day and labeling all Palestinians as terrorists. All of them. I know that you guys understand this on a surface level, but I need to emphasize it to you so that you can understand the gravity of the situation. When Black Mirror dropped season 3, they delivered this episode called Men Against Fire. And in this futuristic dystopian world, the military has developed the technology to implant chips into soldiers' brains so that they would see the targets that the government wanted to be killed as giant mutant cockroaches. The reason why the government had created that kind of technology was because they realized that soldiers found it difficult to kill other human beings. They needed to erase the reality that soldiers were killing human beings. But if you were a brown or black person watching that episode, then you will know for a fact that no such technology is necessary. White supremacy, combined with fervent nationalism and laced with some very specific intentional language, becomes one hell of a drug. And that drug is so aggressive and potent that it literally becomes genetic. Passed down from your great-grandparents to your grandparents to your parents to you to your children to your grandchildren. There is a reason why the Black community, for their own survival, had to eliminate the N-word from your vernacular. It wasn't because they were being petty and they just wanted to steal words from your mouth. They realized that the use of the N-word was so powerful, so destructive, that it literally robbed individuals of their humanity. They had to destroy that word in order for you to recognize that you are not dealing with a subhuman. You are not dealing with an animal. You are dealing with a full-fledged, living and breathing, thinking and feeling human being. And while that seems to have worked on a semantic level, the reality is that brown and black people cannot do the internal work for you. You have to do the internal work. You have to flush the drug of white supremacy and nationalism out of your system. And you have to recognize that we are all equal human beings that deserve the same basic human rights. And maybe you guys have done that internal work. Maybe you guys are, in fact, able to look at black people as equal human beings. But that work that you have done has not transferred over because we are witnessing in real time massive amounts of people becoming comfortable calling for the death of all terrorists and all Hamas. You are not recognizing the humanity of these people. You are failing to recognize that these are thinking, feeling human beings who want water, who want food, who want their basic needs met, and who want to be able to live freely and peacefully in this world. Stop using the word terrorist. Stop using the word Hamas. You are dealing with human beings. Human beings. Acknowledge them as such.